Hey there, everyone, and thank you very much. This episode, as we're coming to the end of season two, just wanted to say thank you, have a shout out, and I wanted to have an ask of anyone who's listened to the podcast or watched the podcast as well. The number one, the thank you is to everyone who's listened to the podcast, supported the podcast, all of the guests for this second season. Thank you very much for coming through, being able to chop it up with you, being able to chat about what it means to be an educator for you, and being able to see those connections to me and it benefit the community that listens to this podcast. Thank you very much for that. Number two, the shout out is for the creators of Spider-Man Across the Universe, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, as well as the movie that'll be coming out. Spoilers if you haven't seen Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. If you haven't, stop listening right now because there are going to be a couple of things that I'm going to talk about, and then come back and listen to the rest of this. And then one ask is there's going to be a link attached to this podcast as well as the YouTube video that I'd like you. It should take no more than 2 minutes max to answer just two questions that I have for the listeners of the podcast. The shout out is really that movie. I've seen it twice now, once with students. To be able to see how kids are connecting, adults are connecting like myself, and to see the connections I've been able to make as a Black male educator, where it started off as 2%, we're now down to 1.3%. So much of that movie I connected with, to be able to see myself as an early educator who wanted to do all things in the moment, similar to Miles Morales, to be able to have mentors who have helped me along the way. And one of those mentors was able to talk with her during the last episode, Dr. Good. And in this movie, to see how they were mentors such as Hobie, to see mentors such as the other Peter B. Parker, who helped Miles to see how his story, he is the conductor of his story. And that although there may be a system with the whole Spider Society saying that he's an anomaly, that he ought not to do this or ought not to do that, I loved how his line of, "Nah, I'm going to do it my way," is similar, something that I am very much one with, is a mantra of that there are going to be suggestions, and there have been suggestions on this podcast, but ultimately you as an educator, it's up to you to figure out what's going to be best for you. It's going to be up to you to decide what school community you're going to be able to thrive in. And one that may have been beneficial to you in the beginning of your career may not be beneficial to you in the middle or the end. And you may move through different positions from being an educator in the classroom to perhaps a dean, maybe an AP or a principal, superintendent, who knows? But it's really going to be up to you to forge your own path. And that movie touched on a lot of things. And I'm pretty sure that I'll be having other educators on to see what they thought of the movie as well. But I just wanted to take this moment to really say thank you to everyone who supported the podcast, who's been supporting the podcast. Thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to season 3, which will be dropping in September. So until then, we have a couple episodes of the best of season 2 that'll be coming out throughout the summer. Hope you check those out. Let me know what you think. And again, the link that's down in the description box, please just take 2 minutes to answer 2 questions. We'd really appreciate it. This is Mr. Pierre. Thank you very much. And I'm out.